I like the Baton Rouge area. I had one of the best po' boys in my life at one of the restaurants there. I, Plus, it's the home of LSU. I am a SEC homer. But what is going on with their police department right now? I have come across and I have researched the Baton Rouge Police Department because I heard news of them having a civil war within their police department. This is no joke. They have members of their police department that are threatening other police officers for investigating crimes. Now, some of these all these crimes that they were investigating happened to be other Baton Rouge Police Department officers committing crimes. So, this isn't a good look. This is all coming out, and this makes you not be surprised that folks wanted to break away and create their own city because Baton Rouge Police Department doesn't seem to be able to act in a manner that is good. Now, I've got 3 clips, but we're going to play the first one here. This is about the civil war that's going on within the Baton Rouge Police Department. And if you don't mind, hit like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff for me. So here we go.
Howdy, y'all. This is Paul, the Redneck Thinker. What we have here is a channel to communicate. I want you folks to be thinking by the time you leave my videos. Why? Because I'm tired of people talking via what other people tell them to think. So, watch my video and enjoy the chance to think for yourself.
From the WAFB team, an email kept under wraps until now is raising questions tonight about potential bad actors within the Baton Rouge Police Department who may have attempted to disrupt an investigation into alleged corruption.
That investigation involved at least 4 officers at BRPD. The email was sent from the Intelligence Division to the then Baton Rouge Police Chief Murphy Paul. Tonight, the Magnolia Peace Officers Association is demanding an investigation after the investigating officer and the former chief faced threats by officers within the department. Our chief investigator, Chris Nakamoto, spoke to the chief and those who say the email raises questions that should have some folks concerned. Chris.
Good evening, guys. The email was sent as a heads up to then Chief Murphy Paul. Watch your back, y'all are targets. A warning about other members of the Baton Rouge Police Department. Our team has spent the past 3 months trying to get Chief TJ Morse to talk about this and what he's done, as some wonder whether officers within the Baton Rouge Police Department are betraying the badge.
Right now, my guys are getting arrest warrants, and you're one of those, if the judge signs it.
It's September 2023, and leaked audio obtained exclusively by the WAFB team documents the moment Baton Rouge Police Deputy Chief Troy Lawrence Sr. is informed by Baton Rouge Police Chief Murphy Paul he's about to be arrested. Lawrence Sr., Todd Thomas, Doug Schutz, and Martell Jackson are all accused of covering up the beating of a man who was in custody at BRPD's 1st District Precinct. These court documents state that Thomas and Schutz specifically were recorded conspiring to get rid of a body camera to further hide their actions.
My heart hurt on this one, bro.
But it's what was heard at the East Baton Rouge Parish Jail that touched off an email from BRPD's Intelligence Division to then Chief Murphy Paul, and a demand for an outside investigation. This email, never made public until now and obtained by the I-Team through a public records request, shows Lieutenant Charles Carras wrote to the chief about 5 weeks after those officers were booked of what he learned. Quote, tactics in which to harass and or intimidate officers assigned to a criminal case involving current BRPD officers. Those tactics outlined for the chief included law enforcement subjects wanted the license plate numbers for the personal vehicles of the Intelligence Division detectives. You all need to be careful. They spreading the word, and y'all are targets.
Are we going to have a civil war within the Baton Rouge Police Department? Are we going to start having sort of officer-on-officer violence, or are officers going to, pull guns on each other? This is a very frightening situation.
We brought those emails to Dillard University public policy professor Dr. Robert Collins. He believes that correspondence requires an outside authority other than Baton Rouge Police to investigate.
You cannot have rogue officers within the Baton Rouge Police Department who somehow think that they have the legal right to harass or intimidate other officers just because those officers happen to be following directions by the police chief to investigate unethical behavior or criminal behavior.
In March of this year, the Magnolia Peace Officers Association caught wind of the email the I-Team obtained through the public records request and sent this strongly worded memo to Chief TJ Morse asking that he thoroughly investigate the matter. Their memo to the chief echoes what Chief Paul was already warned about and gets even more specific. It says one specific investigator, Sergeant Gayton Montgomery, was receiving threats of revenge. He'll get his. No one will back him up. He better watch his back.
This goes to systemic corruption. This clearly is not one or two disgruntled officers. The Baton Rouge Police Department, sadly, does have a history of corruption that we've known and we've seen in recent years. So there does appear to be systemic corruption throughout the department. This is not simply an issue where you can just locate one or two bad officers. There's a systemic issue here, and a systemic issue is not going to be changed by simply changing a police chief or changing a few captains.
State NAACP President Mike McClanahan learned of the Magnolia Peace Officers' request for an investigation weeks ago.
Is those that have been charged to serve and protect us caught up in some type of underhanded, illegal activity against one another. And if they do it against one another, the community doesn't stand a chance.
McClanahan is now demanding transparency.
I've been dealing with the Baton Rouge Police Department for a number of years, and it still hadn't gotten right.
The WAFB team has been requesting information on this investigation for months, submitting our first request to interview Baton Rouge Police Chief TJ Morse back in March. We followed up with another request at the beginning of May. No response from the chief.
For the past 3 months, we've been trying to get you for an interview.
We finally caught up with him at one of his public appearances in June, asking him pointed questions about a demand for an investigation by the Magnolia Peace Officers and whether anything has been done to address the alleged bad actors in the department. The chief didn't say why our request for an interview was not addressed, but finally talked about the email we've been asking about.
Can you assure the public that some of these bad actors have been weeded out of the department? Because the allegations are very specific.
Yeah, so the allegations were very specific to the officers that I've already fired. There's talking specifically about officers that were arrested and then that I later terminated, that I specifically fired. And that's who the bad actors that are referred to in there, or maybe even some officers that have left and retired that are still trying to hold on to some things. I'm confident that everything has been looked into thoroughly and that there was no wrongdoings of any current police officers.
So you can assure the public that there are no more bad actors left in BRPD tied to this email situation?
Yeah, so we're humans, so we're going to make mistakes, right? So I can't assure that we have zero bad actors in the entire 900, employees of the Baton Rouge Police Department. But when it comes to this investigation, it was very specific about officers that I have already terminated and things that they said while they were being booked in Parish Prison, and there is no proof of anything that they were saying.
Tonight, the I-Team has learned from sources that threats have continued for some of those investigators, and the calls by the Magnolia Peace Officers Association to investigate further came after learning that information.
From the tone and tenor of this letter, that they're considering harassing police officers without any probable cause, without any reason for a traffic stop. If they would do that to another cop, they would do that to a citizen. If they would literally do that to a brother or sister police officer, they would do that to another citizen. So that basically destroys all public trust in the police department.
They can't be trusted. If you do this against one of your own brothers, because law enforcement have fraternity. If you do that against one of your own brothers, whom you see every day you've gone through the academy, that you've been on the front line with all these years in different situations and scenarios, clearly you won't care about me or somebody in the community that we've called for you to come and help.
With an internal investigation that doesn't appear to have yielded any results, Dr. Collins and others are demanding an outside entity investigate what's going on at BRPD.
Then I think the chief is going to need to call the FBI or other federal investigative agencies in to conduct an independent external investigation.
The I-Team reached out to the Magnolia Peace Officers Association for a comment, but we were not provided with one. Several of the officers who were arrested and fired by Chief Morse are fighting to get their jobs back currently. That process is still ongoing. For the WAFB I-Team, I'm Chris Nakamoto. Liz Gregg.
All right, Chris, thank you.
Now, you may be wondering, well, how bad can it be other than just a civil war? Why would they be investigating their own? Well, I have two clips for you. One is talking about a deputy chief and other officers in a cover-up where a suspect ended up being taken out. The next clip after that is talking about a black site and also an officer who happens to be the son of the police chief that is talked about in the first video. And we're going to see exactly why the BRPD has to be investigated. I mean, for Pete's sake, what you're about to hear, people may think that I'm against police officers. I'm not. But I'm against what was going on that you were about to hear. This is downright despicable. No police department should be acting like this. I'm glad that it's coming out so people can work on fixing it. But seriously, no. BRPD, what are you doing? So let's let you see these two clips.
This warrant for Officer Todd Thomas is painting a picture of a nightmare scenario that led to him being booked on felony charges this week. Thomas charged with malfeasance, obstruction of justice, simple battery, and theft. Documents show he punched a man several times while being processed prior to being booked. According to a BRPD officer who witnessed the incident, Thomas then accessed an app to view the footage. That's when Troy Lawrence Sr. looked at it and he told him he had to get rid of it.
According to our investigation, we learned that a supervisor believed that the contents on that video were violations of our policy and excessive use of force, and then directed an officer to get rid of the body camera so that the evidence could not be downloaded in the docking station.
At a news conference Friday, Baton Rouge Police Chief Murphy Paul told the public a concerted effort was made to then destroy evidence.
A plan was then made to cover up the incident and get rid of the body camera. Based on our investigative efforts, 4 officers were charged. We, after meeting with the district attorney's office concerning our investigative efforts, our investigators went to a judge in the 19 JDC and 4 warrants were issued.
Thursday afternoon, Deputy Chief Troy Lawrence Sr., Jesse Barcelona, and Todd Thomas appeared before Judge Will Jordan in the 19th Judicial District Court. All 3 were issued $30,000 bonds, remanded into custody, and brought to jail, where they posted bonds later that evening. East Baton Rouge Parish Mayor President Sharon Weston Broom said when the allegations first came to light, swift action was taken.
The Brave Cave is now permanently closed. The Street Crimes Unit has been disbanded. We have actively engaged the FBI to ensure thoroughness. And as you just heard from Chief Murphy Paul, arrests have been made.
That's not all. She says a culture is needing to be changed that dates back 150 years.
To put it in terms that you can relate to, this is not a time for just an annual checkup. This is time for a full body MRI to diagnose and reveal any dysfunctions or wrongdoings. I owe that to the officers of the Baton Rouge Police Department, and I owe it to every citizen in Baton Rouge.
But diagnosing more problems is creating additional ones for others. Already, District Attorney Hiller Moore says hundreds of cases are now in jeopardy, with the arrest warrants issued for 4 Baton Rouge police officers.
Turn your camera on. Turn your camera on. Stop touching me. Stop. Man, I'll turn around. 100% on.
This arrest has led to a concerning discovery by the WAFB I-team. Apparently, that suspect was taken to what's being called the Brave Cave, a secretive location used by certain BRPD officers for certain interrogations. Tonight, the attorney for this man is speaking only to our lead investigator, Scotty Hunter. He describes it as a torture warehouse, saying his client was beaten so badly there he had to go to the hospital. Scotty is here now with why that attorney says everyone should be concerned about it. Scotty.
Well, as that attorney calls it troubling because the officer involved in this and because the police report that he wrote up does not match the bad behavior that officer is accused of. It's January 9th, early this year, and Baton Rouge police officers show up to a home on Cadillac Street looking for drugs and guns.
Come here, bro. Hey, come here, bro.
At some point, officers, including Troy Lawrence Jr., search a man, Jeremy Lee, who ends up on the ground. That's when Lawrence threatens to beat him if he keeps struggling.
Hey, I'm about to back up. Turn your camera on. Turn your camera on. Stop touching me. Stop. Man, I'll turn around. 100% on.
Police take Lee into custody and hours later drive him away in a BRPD unit. That's when one officer can be heard telling others over the radio where he's headed. Pay close attention to where he says he's going.
10-4, route to the Brave Cave.
That's the Brave Cave, a place we had never heard of until now. The next time we see Lee, he's being questioned inside the Brave Cave, a place that looks much like a warehouse.
First of all, state your name, first and last name. Jeremy Lee. Okay.
Body cam footage picks back up inside the Brave Cave where you can see Lee is grabbing his stomach. His attorney, Ryan Thompson, says you can even see a knot on Lee's forehead. He claims his client was beaten here while the cameras were off. The attorney says he gave us all the video he received after his subpoena to police. None of the video, though, shows an actual beating, and it's unclear whether any such video exists. Thompson calls it troubling.
In our view, it almost seems like they take people to what we consider a black site, an area where there's not many cameras, where people don't really know about it, and they can essentially hold you there until they decide what they want to do with you.
And so you believe that the sole purpose of taking your client to this room, to this site, this location, was to torture him?
I believe that he was taken to this room because there were no cameras in this room, and it was to actually beat my client. I believe that's what it was for.
Earlier today, we asked a BRPD spokesman about this secretive place called the Brave Cave. At first, he said he had never heard of the place and would look into it. Within the hour, he called back telling us there are cameras in that facility, and it's typically used by narcotics and street crimes officers for certain interrogations. Attorney Thompson says his client and others detained that night were all brought here. He says as soon as his client was taken inside the Brave Cave, Officer Troy Lawrence Jr. attacked him.
Witnesses that were outside of this garage, they could hear him screaming, and other officers who were there were saying, "You're up next, do you want some too?"
After Lee is questioned, he's taken to Parish Prison. The only problem, his injuries are so bad, the attorney tells me staff at the prison refuse to take him until he goes to the hospital to be treated. That's where, according to this medical record, he was found to have a fractured rib, chest pain, and abrasions to the head. Here is the only police report the attorney claims was written that night, a report prepared by Officer Troy Lawrence Jr. Thompson calls the report bogus, saying it paints a much different picture than what he believes really happened.
It's not very detailed at all. It's like, was anyone injured? No. Well, we know that not to be true because Jeremy Lee, my client, was taken to the hospital for injuries. So how can you say that there were no injuries, there was no need for any medical care when he was taken to the hospital?
This attorney says someone from BRPD needs to answer for what really happened inside the Brave Cave. Have you all been able to ask police at all about this site, this warehouse where your client was taken?
They did say it is a substation, but there hasn't been any comments about this alleged black room, this site, this room, this garage where there are no cameras at. We did file an internal affairs complaint. They did reach back out to us and told us that they were aware of the complaint and that they will follow with us. I haven't heard anything since then.
By the way, that complaint was filed in January. Now in August, Thompson is filing this lawsuit alleging police misconduct and says he's hoping for more accountability. Above all, though, he wants Officer Troy Lawrence Jr. to be stripped of his badge, something he says should have have happened long before now.
It makes me want to ask the question, what makes him so special? I don't know the answer to that, but if this officer is not stopped and taken off the street, he's going to kill someone.
Troy Lawrence Jr. has been the subject of a number of reports by the WAFBI team. In fact, he's currently on leave as Internal Affairs looks into this video showing him punching, pushing, and grabbing a man's hair while trying to force him into the back of a unit.
Stop! Look what he's doing! He's harassing this man and punching on him.
The officer's actions have also cost you money. The city settling one lawsuit after another tied to his behavior, including this one where he drug a woman from her car by her wrist. He's also faced internal complaints from his own fellow officers, including when he tried to fight one of his supervisors. When interviewed by Internal Affairs, that same supervisor said he did not feel comfortable working with Lawrence because he did not know what he was capable of.
It's no secret this is the son of a senior official at BRPD. Why has he not been terminated? Why does he get so many opportunities for remediation or for training when clearly at some point someone has to say that this isn't going to work out for him, he needs to be taken off the street?
It's worth noting his father is Troy Lawrence Sr., a BRPD deputy chief. That's why this attorney now questions what, if anything, will be done about this officer's behavior.
We hope there are some changes within the department that come forth from this, and we also hope that Troy Lawrence Jr. is individually held accountable himself. He needs to be fired.
And when we asked about video from the Brave Cave, we were told there are cameras and we should be able to request copies from that encounter. We did put in a request today, but now we're told we can't get it because it's part of a criminal case. Liz?
All right, Scotty Hunter for Tonight for us. Thank you. Let's talk about...
Now, I am not a expert on all things police. I'm backwoods redneck from East Tennessee who has seen corrupt police in action. I've also seen police officers who go above and beyond and use their brains to do things without having to even pull their service pistol. I do not think that police should be working against the interest of their community. You can't tell me what you just saw is not working against the best interest of their community. I want Baton Rouge to have a good police department. I want them to have everything going good for them. Why? Because I will most likely go to Baton Rouge again because, hey, I want to get another one of those good po' boys. But I also want to go there because I enjoyed the city. You can't tell me that this is something that I should want to go into. If they're treating their citizens like that, how are they going to treat, common everyday visitors? This really needs to be talked about and it needs to be fixed. And I hope to God that they are actually trying to fix this problem. I just thought I'd bring this to your attention because I don't want to see this continue anywhere. This has been Paul, the Redneck Thinker. Y'all have a good day now. Bye. So folks, that's the story that I wanted to bring you on this video. And I just wanted to say thank you again for coming by. Hit like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff if you don't mind. Help me out. So, y'all have a good day now. Bye.